Podcast. 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 Podcast.
Okay, so you're interested in The Godfather, huh?
The 1972 film.
Right, The Godfather, the 1972 film.
Yeah.
Excellent choice.
A classic,
It really is.
for sure.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got some great notes here. It looks like you've got some, you're not just coming in blind to this one.
Oh, no.
So
Definitely not.
we're not going to do the whole here's the basic plot and all that
Here's
stuff.
deep.
We're going deep today.
Absolutely.
We're talking themes, we're talking production, we're talking, impact, lasting cultural impact.
Yeah, it's a film that, even decades later, we're still analyzing and talking about.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Still relevant.
So to kick things off, why don't you tell me, what is your first thought? What pops into your mind when you hear the words, The Godfather?
Well, it's funny. The Godfather, it's so much a part of the culture. Everybody, even if they haven't seen it, they probably know a few things about it.
Right.
Like, Marlon Brando as Don Corleone, the whole shadowy world of the mafia. Some of those lines, that have just become like everyday language.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Exactly.
Right.
So many.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting in your notes was that you called out Coppola's choice to actually film in Sicily.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine that wasn't easy,
It wasn't.
but it definitely makes a difference in the final product.
Oh, yeah, it totally does. I mean, it really grounds the story. You get to see where these people come from.
Right.
It's like, it kind of connects them to their roots. And there's this, this visual tension between the beauty of Sicily
Yeah.
and the darkness of their world.
Right. Right. And that's really interesting because that kind of plays into, those themes that are in the film.
For sure.
And speaking of, things that maybe weren't so easy, your notes also mentioned the casting,
Oh, yeah.
especially the studio's resistance to Brando.
Yeah. At the time, he was considered box office poison.
Yeah.
They didn't think he could carry a film anymore. But Coppola really fought for him,
Interesting.
He saw something in Brando that other people weren't seeing.
And I mean, and it paid off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't imagine anyone else.
Oh, absolutely. His performance is just mesmerizing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's menacing, but also vulnerable.
Yeah, it's iconic.
Yeah.
And even like little details like his voice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so distinct. And apparently Coppola suggested that he stuff his mouth with cotton balls.
Yeah, to get that raspy kind of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you know that he actually ended up wearing a mouthpiece that was custom made by a dentist?
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's attention to detail.
Right. And, and that makes me think about the whole, the family dynamic. The
Right.
whole, the Corleone family. I mean, you've got that fierce loyalty, but then there's also like, the ambition and betrayal.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated. Yeah. And it's interesting because one of your notes even mentioned the idea of the Corleones representing like a twisted version of the American dream.
Right. I mean, they are pursuing success, but through,
Yeah, not exactly legal means.
not exactly.
Right. And, it makes you think about how far you would go to protect your family.
It does. Where does loyalty end and, where does complicity begin?
And the film doesn't give you an easy answer.
Not at all. And I think that's part of what makes it so compelling.
Yeah. So you also mentioned the film's resonance with the immigrant experience.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Well, the Corleones are immigrants. They're trying to make it in a new world, and they face a lot of challenges.
Right.
But they also have this, this drive, this ambition to succeed.
And it's not always pretty. Right.
I always know.
But I guess in a way, it's a story that can resonate with anyone who's ever felt like an outsider.
Definitely.
So we've talked about some of the deeper stuff, but we can't ignore the impact that this film has had on pop culture.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, catchphrases like, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
So many.
I mean, even other gangster movies, it's like, it set a new standard.
It really raised the bar for storytelling.
Yeah, and the music too.
Oh, yeah. Nina Rota, that score.
It's haunting. It's beautiful.
It's so iconic.
Yeah, so one of your final notes was a question. And I actually think this is a really interesting question.
Okay.
How do you think The Godfather would be different if it were made today?
Oh, wow.
I mean, think about it. Organized crime is different. Society is different.
It's a different world.
Hollywood's different.
Yeah, I mean, for one thing, the whole, the violence.
Yeah.
I think audiences today are a lot more sensitive to that.
And then there's the whole family dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, would Michael's journey still resonate with the modern audience?
And how would they portray the themes of loyalty and power?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it would be more about the tension between tradition and modernity, you know?
Like the younger generation trying to find their place.
Exactly.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, but, like with any great work of art,
Yeah.
there's always more to discover.
Always more.
But I think this has been a really good deep dive into The Godfather.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I hope it's given you some new things to think about and some new ways to appreciate the film.
And to keep those conversations going.
Absolutely. And thanks for diving in with us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I enjoyed it.
I did too. This was great.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next time.